An AI just found and fully exploited a 17-year-old vulnerability in FreeBSD from scratch without a single human behind the keyboard. It then found a 27-year-old bug in OpenBSD and another 16-year-old bug in FFmpeg, which had survived over 5 million automated security scans. All of this in the same week. That AI is Claude Mythos, and it has changed cybersecurity forever. Or did it? And here's my objective take on this. Anthropic, the AI company behind all the Claude models, accidentally leaked a draft blog post in late March 2026 describing an unreleased model that they called Mythos. The leak described this model as by far the greatest model they've ever developed. On April 7th, 2026, Anthropic officially announced Mythos Preview as part of Project Glasswind, a coordinated defensive cybersecurity initiative. Think of Mythos like a fourth tier above their current models, Haiku, Sonnet, Opus, and now Mythos. And internally, they call this Capybara. And here's one important fact. The Mythos model was never trained specifically for cybersecurity. All these capabilities we're seeing are byproducts of the model being extremely great at coding and reasoning. And this is what makes it different. So let's talk about the cyber kill chain for a moment. If you're familiar with the cyber kill chain, this is going to hit different. As we know, the cyber kill chain involves 7 stages: recon, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions on objectives. And each of these stages has something different that needs to happen before the other. So here's what's wild about Mythos. It can operate all 7 stages without a human in the mix. So let's walk through the kill chain using Mythos. In recon, Mythos can essentially scan all your source files, find vulnerabilities, and rank them for you. And in weaponize, it can actually build those exploits that are needed. Then in delivery, it can deliver those exploits as in creating the payloads that are needed to exploit a system. In exploitation itself, it can exploit the system by either chaining 2 or more vulnerabilities, all of those things, to the point of even privilege escalation and so forth. And then finally, in actions, it can actually gain root access, etc., and do all kinds of activities once it's gained that access. And all of this without a single human in the mix. Now, here are some statistics that should make every security professional pay attention to this. When Anthropic ran Mythos against Firefox's JavaScript engine, their previous best model, Opus 4.6, succeeded in writing a working exploit 2 times out of 100 times. Mythos, 181 times, and all of this overnight. And let me say this in exactly the way it was described. Engineers with zero security training asked Mythos to find remote code execution vulnerabilities, went to sleep, and the next day they woke up to find completely working exploits. And that's the cyber kill chain, beginning to end, run by AI with no human involved. But let's be honest with ourselves, and as security professionals, let's acknowledge the impressiveness of such a model and the advantages of such a model for us in the work we do. Let's start by talking about finding bugs at scale. Well, for a 27-year-old bug to be found by an automated system which millions and millions of scans and human interactions and research has missed, that is an advantage right there. We can talk about speed and scale at which these vulnerabilities are found. With an AI model working overnight to find something that could typically take us months to find, this helps and makes us more efficient. And also, when we talk about defenders, when we find these vulnerabilities with the aid of things like Mythos, it helps us get ahead of these things before malicious actors actually find them. And then we can talk about the complexity of exploit chaining. In exploit chaining, this is where we put together multiple vulnerabilities to become a more significant vulnerability. This would help us make us more efficient in that regard as well. And let's talk about some of the disadvantages. Or let's be real, these are some of the things that would keep security folks up at night. The same capabilities that I mentioned as far as advantages for security professionals become the same capabilities for malicious actors. Speed to discovery, exploit writing, efficiency, all of those things becomes available to malicious actors as well. And let's talk about some claim to skepticism. In fact, when Mythos was announced, about 198 of those vulnerabilities had been fully vetted or validated out of the 1,000 vulnerabilities. So we can't significantly say we trust everything that's coming out of Mythos yet. And now let's talk about something with zero-day vulnerabilities. I mean, if Mythos can find zero-day vulnerabilities within a matter of being overnight, these become something that we need to worry about in terms of patching schedules and so forth, because enterprises will need to keep up as far as patching if 0-day vulnerabilities can just be spat out in a matter of like minutes. And then we can talk about Cloud Code itself, where I would assume that it should have scanned something like Cloud Code itself, where we are now finding out that it came out actually with some vulnerabilities on its own and so forth. And now, on to the biggest question. Will something like Mythos kill cybersecurity careers? A lot of people are saying AI will kill a lot of cybersecurity jobs, and Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, said 20% of white collar workers will lose their jobs to AI, and he doubled down on this number. And I get why people are worried about Mythos in the cybersecurity space. If a tool can write exploits, deploy exploits, do all of those things that a human typically does without involving the human, what's the need for the human? But here's my take on it. I say jobs are not going away, but I say the jobs are transforming. Again, here's my honest take on this. Some roles will go away in our space. Things like very entry level, basic, manual, repetitive tasks such as writing reports, running manual scans, all of those things will go away and get automated. And you must upskill now. Now, what do I think will grow? Things like security architects who can design AI integrated pipelines, threat hunters who can understand AI results and validate them, policy experts who understand AI governance, the humans who can understand or interpret things like Mythos output will continue to grow. This is all very terrifying and optimistic at the same time. So, is Claude Mythos a game changer? Yes. Is it the apocalypse for cybersecurity? Absolutely not, in my opinion. At least not for now. Right now, we're in the transition period. In July 2026, Glasswind's public vulnerability report will drop. And if your organization isn't ready or has a plan on patching, you are going to feel it. Claude Mythos is a watershed moment, not a death sentence. The real question is, who's going to adapt first, attackers or defenders?